ESPN ranked the Bears where in the latest power rankings? I mean, come on. We got to talk about this. You got some explaining to do, ESPN, because you're wrong. And that's why I got my buddies with us tonight, because we're going to explain why they're wrong in the Chicago Sports Podcast that's coming up next.
Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Well, hello and welcome into the Chicago Sports Podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. And thank you so much for watching tonight. And my name is Matt Cooper. We're going to be talking all Bears, the Chicago Sports Bears on tracks, 5-4 Chicago. And we're going to talk about the latest rankings for ESPN, their post-draft NFL power rankings that just came out. I think it just came out either yesterday or the day before, but either way, it's got a lot of people talking right now because where the Bears are at, let's just say a lot of us did not expect that. So I got the crew with us tonight to talk about it. First, we got my friend Kris Light Dreams Brown. Kris, it's good to see you as always, my friend. How you doing?
I'm good. You know how it is. We talking football. I'm always there, baby.
And then making his way back to the show, got a chance to have him on for the first time last week, and he's got all Bears. This dude's about diehard as it gets. It's Big O, man. What's going on, man? It's good to see you again as well.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Glad to be back. Glad to talk about our Bears, man. Bear down. Let's go.
Yeah, guys, we got a lot to talk about here tonight. So we got everything done here with the draft, and I like when this comes out because normally around this time of the year it does come out, the Chicago Bears with the ESPN power rankings, and right now they have them ranked as 21st in the post-draft NFL power rankings, despite the very aggressive offseason that they had. And it had a lot of us confused a little bit. And I'm going to break it down a little bit here, guys. And then I want to get your opinions as we go along. And also, if you guys are in the chat tonight, thank you so much. For those of you watching, feel free to join in as well. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and share this video with all your other Bears friends. Now, when you read the ESPN article, it has them ranked as 21, and they go by the most improved position. Now, they do this for every team, guys. And for the Bears, they have the offensive line. And they had a little write-up in there. But they talked a lot about the free agency pickups of Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and Drew Dalman. Now, Jonah Jackson was a trade, but a lot of it has to start with there, which rightfully so. And this is talking about our quarterback, Caleb Williams, and the protection that we need from him because he was sacked a league high 68 times last year. So that was Courtney Cronin that actually wrote that up when you look at this article. So this goes up a little bit, but I think a lot of us are a little bit, I guess, surprised, that they're 21. And where do we think that ESPN has missed the mark on this one? So let's start off with there, and then we're going to break it down kind of where the Bears did the offseason, where they're at right now. But let's take a look at it as a whole, guys. So, Kris, I'm going to start with you because me and you were kind of talking about this a little bit before we jumped on the show tonight. Where do you think ESPN missed the mark, and why do you think they gave them a low ranking of 21st in the league right now?
I think it's because they see it as, we don't know what y'all going to be cooking up to, to present on the field. So it's more of just because of the uncertainty. And then when you think of last year when, Bears got Caleb Williams, everybody thought it was going to take off, and it kind of did in the beginning, but then it like that loser streak kind of, made it crash and burn. And so it's like, fool me once, Chicago Bears, but now you got to earn it. So I honestly think, the way they looking at it is if you want to be higher in those power rankings in the preseason before the season starts, then you got to earn that right. So even though I feel like they missed the mark because 21 is ridiculous, I do think because of what we've done this offseason, it's going to be a totally different team that's going to be more consistent and it's going to be more powerful.
That's just giving us some motivation, Kris, right there. And yeah, I think when you don't have the track record like the Bears have had the last couple of years, that's why you get the 21st ranking. And Big O, the big Bears fan that I know you are, when you think of that, where ESPN misses the mark, the 21st ranking, is that too low, or do you think it's higher than you thought?
I mean, looking at what we did in the offseason, yeah, it's probably kind of low, but after the last few years of being the off-season champs and seeing what we did, 5-7 games, max, it's time to put up or shut up. I mean, if we want respect, we got to go out on the field and earn it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think last year too, guys, I was trying to look back a little bit from the ESPN Power Rankings when they come out around this time of year. I think we were actually a little bit better than that. I think we were like 19th or 20th. I mean, it wasn't that much higher. Don't get me wrong. There's not much of a difference between like 18, 19, and 21. There's not you're not going from like the best in the league to the mediocre part of the league. But I think we were a little bit better. And I think it's just we to what you guys said, we have to earn the respect and our track record. When you have a track record of losing and a track record of losing like the Bears had the last couple of years, especially over the last couple of years in the Eberflus era. I don't care if it's a new coach or not, but if you think about it too, guys, I mean, we've changed coaches now, every three or 4 years for the last 10, 15 years. So I guess I don't blame them that they're not giving us the benefit of the doubt right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to break this down, kind of what we think we improved on the most in the offseason, and get your guys' thoughts, and you guys in the chats as well. Thank you so much. And as we talk about the Bears rankings, the ESPN's latest power ranking is ranked 21st in the league. So when we start talking about our major upgrades, let's start right away, guys, with the offensive line, because that's where the article talks about. That's where they said we improved at. The major upgrades, we talked a lot about it here on the Chicago Sports Podcast with the Joe Thuney trade. The Joe Thuney in, Jonah Jackson coming in, Drew Dalman taking in one of the best centers of the league, and Ozzy Trapilo, our second-round pick, who I was reading a little about earlier today, was getting already a lot of praise with the rookie minicamps that started for a lot of the teams today. I believe it was all the teams in the NFL today where the rookie minicamp started, and he was getting some very heavy praise on where he's going to play. Is it going to be right guard? Is it going to be left guard? Depending where we want to move Darnell Wright, if I could say his name correctly. So when you think of the major upgrades on the offensive line, I think this is the strongest point in the offseason so far, guys. And we got to get that protection for Caleb Williams. So when you start thinking of the upgrades and where you think our linemen and our starters are going to be, Big O, I'll start with you. When you look at the offensive line right now, it is an upgrade, but do you have any concerns, or do you think there's any concerns to that offensive line? But because I think right away it's a major upgrade from last year, and I think it's going to be better just from the names coming in. But is there something that will concern you that will be relatable to this article on Iowa 21 in the league for the rankings?
I tell you, I mean, this offseason has been like no other when it's come to the offensive line. I mean, what we've added with Dalman, with Thuney, I really don't see any weakness in this new revamped O-line. I mean, we get with Darnell Wright, with, of course, the rookie and Dalman and Thuney. I just think it's going to be much improved. We're going to see Caleb Williams take that next step. Of course, as far as our offensive weapons go, production is going to go, this way, right? So don't see a lot of major concerns with the O-line right now. I kind of want to see what goes through camp and see how things progress. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we do, man, offensively. I mean, it's going to be exciting, man.
Hey, Kris, to his point, when we look at this offense, me and you have talked a lot about the upgrades throughout the Chicago Sports Podcast and some of the shows that we've had. And I know, I think all of us are in agreement that we're big fans of Joe Thuney and what he's going to bring at the guard position, because we need to really upgrade there. And then the center, to me, the center has been the biggest key for us. And even going into last year, I was really worried that we did not upgrade that center position. And Drew Dalman, do I think he's a top 5 center? Probably, I don't know, but I think he's a very damn good center, and I think he was the best one on the market. And I think that alone is going to help our second-year quarterback. So when you look at this offensive line, I think, Kris, by far, it's the biggest upgrade of the offseason, between the offseason, free agency, and the draft. And I'm very confident, to what Big O kind of said, I'm very confident going into this year and what they're going to be able to do.
With me, I think it's key because you secure two things that are key for quarterback success: is securing the interior of the offensive line and the left tackle position, which is usually the quarterback, the blind side. Also, when we added Joe Thuney into the mix, you also can now you can have more of a power run game. It's easier to run in between the tackles, and I think that's another thing that impacts that these upgrades have impact with the offensive line. Now, on top of that, when we got Thuney, Jackson, and Dalman, now you got to also think about these draft picks that we got late in the draft. When you look at these guys' resume, there's certain things that constantly comes up, and that is they are very flexible. They could play in different positions on the offensive line. Trapilo, he could play guard, he could play tackle. You preferably want to play tackle because of his size. Newman, he can move, he can play any position on the line itself. So when you think about this, and you have with the head coach that we have, he has a history of being an offensive line coach as well. If there's anything he needs that they individually need to clean up, you can actually rest assured that he's going to help them clean that up and perfect their craft. So I'm excited because these games are usually won in the trenches, and when them trenches is right, you're going to win a lot of games.
Guys, we have a comment here. I really want to see if Newman could beat out Bates for the backup role and save some money. And it's going to be interesting, too, to see where our depth lies on the offensive line, too, because I am not necessarily sure. I know Bates is going to be on the team probably starting at the training camp. I'm not necessarily sure he's going to be there by the end as we get ready for the season, especially with a whole new coaching staff. Hey, by the way, guys, I don't know. I was watching some videos earlier today. I was going through all on X. I was just scrolling through X. I was going through all the teams in the rookie mini camps because I get excited for this stuff, man. I love it. I love watching all the different teams and seeing who's out there. My God, Trapilo is bad. That's a very impressive guy. Now I've watched not as much maybe that some others are when you watch his film from college, but that is a very impressive looking guy, man. So I'm kind of interested to see where he ends up playing. Like I think that's going to be a position of battle. I think it's going to be the left tackle position, but if Braxton Jones is not back in time, we'll see what goes on here. But he could very well be the starting left tackle. Do you guys think that would be his position? Like, Big O, I'll start with you. Do you think that would be his strength, his position as left tackle?
Oh, definitely, man. I would love to see him left tackle. Like you said, don't know if Braxton Jones is going to be healthy, but seeing the rookie there, man, that'd be huge, man. I mean, I was watching him today at rookie camp, and his footwork is real smooth. I was watching his wingspan, his arm length. He's going to be aggressive, man. I can't wait to see him.
Kris, what stands out to you about our second round pick?
Like what O said, the footwork. When you're a big guy, that footwork is key because you got to be able to mirror what the edge rusher's doing. You got to be able to shift also to pick up blitzes, stunts, whatever the case may be. And plus, if he's playing tackle, he's on that blind side. You want that guy that you could trust to protect your quarterback. So I'm happy when you see the footwork. It brings a little joy to your heart because the big man can move around. So and also when it comes to that run game, you know that he has that ability to not only just set it for the guard if they run a zone, he could also get to that linebacker on the second level. So linemen with footwork, oh yeah, you're gonna love that. You're gonna love that all day, every day, especially if they have a nasty streak too.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. This gets me excited. I know it's the first day of rookie minicamp, but man, this gets us excited to watch, especially watch our rookies in action, and we're excited for him, especially for a second round pick for Trapilo. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens at that left tackle position. We'll see what happens at the right tackle position. We'll see what happens with Wright. I think this is also a big year for Darnell Wright as well. And we'll see if he can go out there, especially with an upgraded offensive line. I think that's going to help him a lot. As we're talking about the Bears tonight, Bears disrespected in the ESPN power rankings. Why are they ranked number 21 right now, 21st in the league? We're going over that. So thank you guys for watching tonight. And you can leave a comment. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. Check out all of our past shows. We talk a lot about the Bears here, man. We're doing that tonight. And the next thing I want to bring up, guys, are the new weapons for Caleb Williams. We're talking about Colston, Loveland. The two that stand out to me right now, Colston, Loveland, and Luther Burden III, as we're talking about rookie mini camps here today. But we're talking about that playmaking ability, as that's what we're looking for right now, guys. And we talked a little bit about these guys in the draft and coming out of the draft. I know Loveland right now is recovering from a shoulder injury, which is about a 6-month injury. You could just tell that dude wants to be out there. He wants to start playing, but he can't start playing yet because I think he's like just a couple of months in still. So he's still got to wait for that. And then Burden III, I love his speed, watching games from him last year. Once that guy's got the ball, I think the speed is what you guys are going to be. Anybody out there that hasn't seen much of him, you're going to love the speed on this guy when he has the ball in his hands. And I think that's going to give another dynamic for our offense. So As we look at the playmakers here for Caleb Williams, we're still going to have DJ Moore, Rome Dunze on the other side, and we're still going to have Cole Kmet in there. And then I think it's going to be all dependent on the other receivers battling for the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots here for this year. But when you start looking at these two rookies, I know I'm biased. I said this on our show before when it comes to Michigan football, but I'm a big Loveland fan, man. I think he's going to be that big guy that they're looking for at the tight end spot. Kris, when you look at these two guys, Burden the third and Colston Loveland, what is something that stands out to you?
Smooth. When you have guys that are smooth like that, it's hard to get a tell on what type of route they're going to run. And so when you have a guy like Luther Burden, when you see that he could be explosive within the offense, and also Colston Loveland, his size, the way he can block, and then on the top of that, he's a hands catcher. Hands catchers are if you, as a quarterback, and you have a receiver that's a hands catcher, that is mainly your best friend because you don't have to worry about those body drops. And then with a Luther Burden, not only now, when he becomes more productive, not only now you have this watch out for DJ Moore. Now you can move these two guys around in different positions in the field because they kind of mirror each other in their game. So when you look at that, when you look at it from that standpoint, it brings about trouble because you don't know what you're gonna do, what you're gonna get with a DJ Moore and a Luther Burden on the field at the same time. And we ain't even get to Rome Dunze yet because he may have a breakout year this year.
Yeah, Big O's pointing right at you, Kris, because I was just about to talk about him because I think he is the X factor in all of this. And Big O, to some of Chris's points, man, when we add a guy like Burden the third and all of his speed and what he can do down the field, you got a Dunze coming into his 2nd year. I am thinking this could be a breakout year for him too. This could determine him making that jump, that status from that 2nd wide receiver to the number 1 receiver by the end of the year.
I can't think of the last time that we had this many options. Caleb has options. And with Ben Johnson and his creativity and with our new OC and just there's so much stuff we can look at, right? I mean, like I'm going to piggyback off of Kris with Loveland with his hands and his route running and his ability to create space and get open in the middle of the field. I mean, that's going to be exciting to see that. Or Dunze, I think he is going to be this sophomore year for him is going to be exciting to watch because what he did last year, what did he have? Almost 800 yards last year. I think this year he'll definitely eclipse 1,000. That's just my opinion. Everyone's going to elevate their game this year. The run game with DJ Swift, not DJ Swift, DeAndre Swift, and we have options. I mean, I haven't seen options on our offense since we had, back in Trestman's year. Trestman's offense he had. So definitely, man, Loveland, it's gonna be exciting, man. I can't wait.
To all of our guys in the chat, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. And Cliff, I see Cliff Victorian, and he brings up a good point too about Luther, guys, about him playing in the slot, because that's going to kind of remind me of Ben Johnson's offense in Detroit, where he had Amon-Ra St. Brown as his big slot guy. I think that's the type of player he was looking for. That's the type of guy he was looking for in this draft. And I think that's going to be the prototypical type of player that's going to be able to run his offense, and we're going to be able to see that speed this year. To your point, Big O, I'm excited. I don't remember like these type of offensive weapons. It's been a long time that we've had a collection of this many offensive weapons right now, and now we just got to put it all together. And I think that's what's going to be fun about this season, and how it's all put together, and how it's going to fit under the Ben Johnson offense. And that's why we are talking about we're going to be better than being the 21st ranked power ranking in the latest ESPN poll, and we're breaking it down for you guys today. So thank you for watching here, the Chicago Sports Podcast. Bears on Tracks, 5 for Chicago. Make sure you share this video with your other Bears friends and tell them, hey guys, ESPN is wrong, man. We are not 21. We're going to go up by the end of the year. We're going to be up. We're going to be further up in this chart, guys. We're going to be up at like 14 or 15. Well, that's the goal, I hope. So we talked a little bit about the offense. How about we go to the defensive front, where I still think they're missing a couple of pieces, but I want to get your guys' opinion on this too. A rebuilt defensive front, which I think they have improved on. I love the signing of Grady Jarrett. I think Grady Jarrett does still have a couple years left in him. I think he's going to bring that veteran presence. Hell, you could just tell that when you heard him at this press conference, man. That's the type of guy you want in that locker room. We also got Dayo Odeyingbo and Shermar Turner, who I was watching a little bit of video from him earlier today too at the rookie camp. And I like that pick in the draft. I think that could be a good one for us. So what are your thoughts when we start thinking about the defensive front? Kris, I'll start with you. I still think we're missing an edge rusher. I don't know if that was a time to go find that edge rusher. I think this is it. Even if you go out and let's say you do go out and get it like a Clowney who was just released from the Panthers, I think he's a good player. Do I think he'd be the missing piece? No, not by any means. I think if you're going to try to find that missing piece, you would have to look for that playmaker in the draft or a trade or free agency. So I still think that's going to be a hard thing to replace. But as far as the upgrades go, I think it's going to be a lot better going into this year, Kris.
I honestly think we're missing that guy on the edge that just wreaked havoc. Maybe we just have to look at some more film throughout this year and see how this defensive line produces. But I mean, if you was to go get a guy like Clowney, you're gonna get a guy that's gonna wreak havoc on that edge with his speed and with his burst off of the line. So I mean, it depends also what type of Clowney you're getting. Are you getting uh Carolina Panthers Clowney, or you're going to get the Baltimore Ravens Clowney, who I believe had like 9 sacks in that year, and I think was a career high for him. So I honestly think that if we get that guy that can rush the passer on third downs, it'll make it better. And then on top of that, there's nothing wrong with adding depth on that defensive line when it comes to the edge and the interior, because now you're swapping guys out. You can play different guys in the lineup, and now you can do more things because of the simple fact that all these guys bring different qualities to the table. So I think go for more depth on the defensive line, but mainly on that edge, because at the same time you want those tackles to have to feel the pain of rushing different type of pass rushes that have to deal with different type of moves, different type of speed, different type of power. And that I think depth would be the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kris. And Big O, is there something that you think we're missing on our defensive front right now? We like the upgrades. I just went over some of the upgrades. Or are there certain players that you think could have a bounce back year from last year? Is there somebody on the team that's coming back that you think could take that next step to that next level, that where we don't have to talk about, hey, we're missing another person to rush the passer, or hey, we can't get to the quarterback, or hey, we can't stop the run?
Javon Dexter is going to have a year.
Just thinking of him, man.
Yeah, Javon Dexter is I think, honestly, the player I'm most excited to watch, to see him get to that next level. I think he's going to bring a lot of pressure to that front, man, and stop that run, but also get to that quarterback, man. And I do agree that we are lacking at edge, that pass rush. But you can't double team everybody, right? And with Montez getting double teamed, we need somebody else on that edge. And honestly, I would kick the tires on Clowney. Heck, I was even open to bringing Cleo Mack back. I mean, when it was up in discussions on Twitter and everything, I think he would have been huge to bring back. But the Chargers are a smart team and they know what they got. So, but definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens with our line and how it develops this year.
We got another comment here from Cliff says, I want to see what Shermar can do on the edge. And I think that's going to be a key as we're talking about. I think a lot of us want to see what he can do on the edge. And watching, again, some of the videos from earlier today, it gets you excited. It gets you excited when you see him and you see the other rookies out there getting ready and trying to get into the system, into the brand new Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen system. I should say the Dennis Allen system on defense. Guys, when you start looking at the defense in general, I brought up the rebuilt defensive line, and I'm just trying to go over some of the other areas. If there's anything that I think I'm missing on this defense, I like outside of the front, out of the defensive line and the edge rushers, I do like everything else that we have right now going into this year. Our linebackers, I think Edwards can bounce back. I mean, not Edwards. Edmonds can bounce back this year. I think Edwards played very well last year. Maybe the safety position is something that I would be a little bit concerned with going into the season with our depth, but I like our cornerback depth right now. And I kind of like exactly where we're going on this defense. Kris, do you think there's anything that we're missing or something that we need to upgrade to make our ranking go from 21st all the way to like 15th or 16th for this defense to improve?
I think the only thing that kind of worries me on this defense is the secondary, preferably the safeties, just because of the simple fact that there's some question marks. We got Byard, and then also we got Brisker. Brisker has some question marks because of his health. Byard's up there in age, so it kind of brings a bit of concern. But with the Dennis Allen defense, what you get is a defense in attack mode, not like last year where it was kind of just, everybody sit back in coverage. And I believe his defense, when it comes to a guy like Tremaine Edmonds with his ability and what he brings to the table is speed and, see ball, get ball. And he's pretty good in coverage, can be good at covering the backs. Also, I believe this system would benefit him the most just because of, when you look at the New Orleans Saints, when Dennis Allen was that DC, there was a certain middle linebacker down there who was all over the field. So I think he can mimic that with his talents. It's just that the safeties, you got to make sure that back half is set, and preferably in the safety position, that guy patrolling the middle of the field is really important. So I think the safeties position is something we need to be worried about just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. These guys have good resumes. One has amazing potential. The other one, he has the experience. You see through the resume, you just wonder, is that going to show itself on the field? So I'm just saying, where just think about that safety position probably being the only possible hole in that defense. Other than that, I think we're set to go.
By the way, guys, the remaining free agent safeties, as I'm looking over the list right now, they have, this is according to CBSSports.com, Justin Simmons, number 1, who was with Atlanta last year. Then there's Jordan Whitehead, and then Justin Blackman, who was with the Colts last year. Whitehead was with the Buccaneers. So none of those guys really blow me away. Simmons did not have a good year last year. I think that would be the one you might want to bring in for maybe some depth help. But overall, none of those guys blow me away right now. So I think this is what we're going in with this year. Big O, Kris was talking about the safety position, and I was kind of backing with him on that. Is there anything on this defense that you look at that you see a bigger strength than you thought going into this year? Maybe the linebacker position, or is there something else that you think we still need to upgrade on?
I mean, besides the pass rush that I spoke about earlier, I think we have the best secondary in the league. I really don't see us needing anything else, on that in the back end of the field, with our corners, our safeties. I think we're stacked. Just my opinion. I think we might need a little bit more depth. Like you said, bringing in somebody for depth purposes. But besides that, man, I think we're good to go. I mean, I think we're strong. I think Stevenson needs to maybe get his head in the game a little bit. Mature up a little bit and not get so involved with distractions. But besides that, man, I think we're strong. I really do, man. And with, like I said, with Dennis Allen aboard, and with the new Al Harris on the staff as well, I think we are going to see an aggressive attack this year.
And I'm excited to see, by the way, Brisker come back this year. He's one of my favorite players. If you had to put a top 3 favorite player for me on the Bears, Brisker would be in probably my top 3 or 4. So I'm hoping he's, by all accounts, it sounds like he's healthy coming back this year. And that was scary last year. Anytime you have head injuries or talk about concussions, that's something that's hard to talk about, man, because you're really messing with your future and your life when you have that many concussions. And we just hope for all the best for him, and hopefully he's 100% healthy, and we see the same Jaquan Brisker that we've seen in the past, man, and he can make a big difference on that defense. So I'm excited for him to come back. Thank you guys for watching here, Chicago Sports Podcast. Bears on Tracks, 5 for Chicago, talking about the ESPN rankings that just came out. The Bears, they have them at 21, and we're going over why we think they're at 21 right now and why they could possibly be better than 21, as we're going over the roster right now and some of the offseason moves. And you guys could share this video with your other Bears friends. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. How about our special teams? I think our special teams going into this year is going to be our strong point. A question mark for me on Cairo Santos. I think I'm going to have I think he's fallen off a little bit. But other than that, we had Scott Daly, our long snapper, who signed a 1-year contract extension. They also extended Josh Blackwell and Amen Ambanyana for special teams. And then, of course, our punter, Taylor, who I was kind of critical taking him in the 4th round. But, boy, when you see him punting last year, you see why that's a key component you want on your team, especially for a young quarterback. So I got it. I got it. See, after seeing him play last year, I'm like, all right, I get it. I get it, man. You're that good. I know you are. And this is crazy, too, guys. With the coaching changes we've had on the staff, we're going to have the same special teams coordinator coming back, Hightower coming back this year, too. So that's how strongly they thought of him. But I think this could be one of the strongest parts of our team this year, especially with Duvernay, the signing of Devin Duvernay as a returner. And Kris, that one stands out to me, man, because I think he's going to be able to give us some better field position, and that's going to be better for our Caleb Williams, especially the first 4 or 5 weeks into the season, where Well, let's face it, guys. I think at times it can be a little bit sloppy because the offense is still going to be learning. Caleb Williams is still going to be in his second year, so there could be times where it could be a little bit sloppy. So I think the addition of Duvernay is pretty big on this special teams unit.
Oh, absolutely. When you bring in a Devin Duvernay, a 4-3 guy, you add speed, suddenness, burst, and the dude can actually break it open when he hits open field. We've all seen the highlights from him in Baltimore. So when we first acquired him, everybody did their homework on it. So like you have a guy like a Devin Duvernay there. Yeah, he can bust. He can break one open. So on top of that, it helps with field position, and it can shift momentum just because of having a guy back there. He breaks something about a good 30, 40. It's going to get that offense charged up to put that in the end zone. So I like the Duvernay acquisition. Maintaining, keeping Blackwell also because what we had the highlights, the special teams play, and then also we actually drafted a guy, the linebacker from Maryland. He also brings some speed. So so that also works well with kick coverage, and I honestly do like how we've also just attacked special teams as well throughout the draft, free agency, and just to make sure we have the squad that we have now. So when it comes to them times where we need to make a play and they can shift momentum, these guys can show up and show out.
I think you said it there, man. Shift the momentum. That's what you think of when you think of special teams. Very good teams with good special teams. You can change and shift the momentum in a game, especially if it's a close game. And Big O, when you look at the special teams unit, the addition of Duvernay, we love it. Our punter can certainly do that if we're punting from further back away and give good field position to change the face of the game with the field position. But Cairo Santos is the one that I have a question mark next to. And Cairo Santos has been good for us. I think Cairo's been good for us. But last year there were certain times you watched him play and he would not come through with some of them clutch kicks. And then at the end of the year, I felt like he would come clutch with some of them kicks. I think this is going to be a very interesting year for him. This could be a big part of our team. This could be something that can win us a couple of games, a couple of close games, or they can lose us a couple.
I love Carlos Santos. Let's look back at the last game of the year, hitting that game-winning field goal against Green Bay in Lambeau. That right there, and the team celebrating around him, rallying around him. That was the best. That was the season. That was our Super Bowl last year, right? It was exciting to see. I think he's been very consistent, and I just keep riding with him, and I think he's doing well for us. As for Duvernay, that's a great pickup we got, and hopefully he can bring some excitement to the return game. We haven't had that in a long time as well. We were dealing with Velus Jones last year. That was a huge letdown. He was I think he was too hyped up last year, especially with the Hard Knock series, and but he didn't show up. It was time to get rid of him, and I'm glad we got who we got, and it's going to be exciting to see our special teams show out.
Velus Jones, man, I forgot about him. Did he get picked up? I think he got picked up by somebody. I want to say maybe Arizona is bringing him in. I was just about to look. I know he. What's that? Jacksonville,
right? At one point. Don't know if he's still there.
Yeah, I think they got rid of him. Don't forget, they also changed their coaches there, so I'm quite sure. I felt like he went somewhere else, and it could have been Arizona. Maybe somebody in the chat could see that, or we could see that coming up. But at the same time, either way, it's a major upgrade. To your point, we're upgrading here with Devin Duvernay when we start thinking about some of our pass returners, man. So, special teams, I think, is going to be key this year, and I think it's also key too to see what our special teams coordinator with him coming back. So a lot of those guys felt really comfortable with him. We're talking about the Bears. We're talking about the ESPN Power Rankings. The Bears right now ranked 21st post-draft NFL Power Rankings, and we're discussing why we think that could be why that's 21st and why we think it could be a little bit higher. And we're going over our offseason right now. And so far, with what we've talked about, guys, I think we're at least a 17th or 18th ranked just with some of the additions that we have. Now, I know we've heard that before. We won the offseason, or you win the offseason. But when we start looking now how we compare to our division in the power rankings, all right? So the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. And their power rankings, so the Lions are at number 4, which I'm not surprised about, and they still have a very good team and a very good roster. The Packers at number 8, which I thought that was kind of high, and the Vikings right behind them at number 9. So I'm going to give you kind of a synopsis on where, according to the ESPN, this is on ESPN.com, by the way, for the power rankings, and I'm just going to briefly go over why they have them so high right now. So when it comes to the Lions, they're talking about their upgrades to their offensive line as well. So they got Tate Ratledge and Miles Frazier as upgrades. And listen, man, I'm not going to put anything past Brad Holmes for what that guy has done as GM for the Lions. Every time that guy drafts, for me, I always feel like they hit gold in all their draft picks. So I'll be interested to see how that pans out. But also for the Vikings, they had a very big offseason. They've also stated that they've improved their offensive line. Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, I know those are a couple of guys that, Chris, I know we've talked about those guys before free agency, that they could be good fits for the Bears, or whether they'd be good fits for the Bears or not. They also, the Vikings also drafted Donovan Jackson. That's also going to be on their offensive line. So they're really looking to beef up the offensive line, rightfully so, when they got a rookie quarterback. But don't forget, guys, they also signed Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. I think just like the Bears, they had a hell of an offseason. The question with them is just going to be their quarterback position and what JJ McCarthy does. And then for the Packers is they loved the wide receivers that they brought in this year. They were talking in the article about the draft of Matthew Golden, which I do like that pick from the Packers. I was a fan of Golden coming out. Savion Williams as well. And they also signed McCole Hardman, which that's kind of an under the radar signing. He actually revitalized himself with the Chiefs. Now, anybody can revitalize themselves with the Chiefs when you go there, but I thought he was pretty good for them the last couple of years. They also got Nate Hobbs from the Raiders. I thought that was a good signing, and we talked. Chris said that's another guy we were talking about that would be a good fit for that could be a good fit for the Bears. Was Nate Hobbs from Bears? So that's kind of how the breakdown is for the division when it stacks up to their rankings and they stacks up to the Bears. So with you, man, when you look at the 3 teams in our division, how we compare to the other teams, what's your comparison? Do you think there's one greater than us? Do you think that the rankings are higher or lower for any of these teams? What are your initial thoughts?
No surprise with the Lions where they are. I mean, much respect to the Lions. They've done a great job these last few years. They deserve to be where they are. But you know what? I'm a Bear fan. Forget them all, man. I'm ready to run them all over. I'm ready for the Bears to dominate. It's time. May not be this year, but we're getting closer. I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a 10-win season, and I want to see us make a run, man. But we shall see what happens. But forget them all, man. Bear down.
Big O, I like your attitude there. Forget them all, man. Screw the NFC North.
Forget them.
Screw them. We're going to win this division, man. We're going to take it over, like Ryan Poles said, and never give it back. By the way, guys, we got an answer to the Jones in the chat room. They said he went to the New Orleans Saints on a 1-year contract. So, I know, Big O, your second favorite team, you said was going to be the New Orleans Saints going into this year. So to cheer on Velus Jones. So there you go, man.
Man, let me tell you, I have 2 favorite teams. The Chicago Bears, and any team who plays the Packers, and that's it.
So we'll just count the Saints out then. All right, I got it, man. Yeah, I got it. Chris, all right, we're talking about the division right now. Lions 4, Packers 8, Vikings 9. What are your initial thoughts? Do you think I thought the Packers might be a little higher than I thought. Maybe the Vikings might be around there. If we're talking about how good our offseason was, I mean, their offseason was really good. I still think the Lions are going to be really good. What's your breakdown when you take a look at that?
When I look at that, I think it's just the level of uncertainty between all the teams. So when you look at Detroit, the roster is what comes up first. But at the same time, you got to think of they had to elevate a lot of guys in their coaching staff and bring in some guys, to replace the departures. So when you look at that, it's the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. So there's some uncertainty there. And, as far as like play calling and schemes, so those things may change up because they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. And then when you look at Green Bay, you just look at the pieces they added, and what you've seen is they added a lot of speed to their offense, and they added a good corner to their defense. So when I look at Minnesota is you don't know what you're going to get from JJ McCarthy. Everybody looked at the preseason. It brought some Vikings fans, some hope. They thought that Sam Darnold wasn't going to start before the injury, but that's where your uncertainty is. And also on the back half, because they also lost Biden. They lost Bynum in free agency, and they tried to replace that. I don't think that's going to work out well. And it also plays a big role in Brian Flores' defense, which manipulates who you're going to have in the secondary as far as coverage. But the thing is with Chicago is everything, even though that roster for the most part is there, the whole coaching staff changed from the head coach on down. The only coach still there is really the special teams coordinator. So we can't really get on ESPN because they don't know what we cooking over here. They don't know the recipe. They don't know what's about to happen. So what I'll say with these rankings, keep them the way they are. And hopefully Chicago players, they post that ranking in the locker room. And every time when we put B to A on every team that we face and we win on, just keep saying 21. Just say 21. Every game, 21. How would you feel about this game that you guys won? Just say 21. Just say 21 all day. Because just to let them know that every time we pull off a victory, here's how we're going to show you got it wrong.
I like that, Kris. 21. We should get that on here too. Like 20, like all throughout the season, 21 because of these power rankings right now. You know what makes me a little bit nervous in this division this year? Listen, I still think the Lions gonna be really good, but I think the Vikings, when you look at the Vikings, I think Brian Flores got what he needed to complete his defense with those signings of Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Now, how's gonna be a question with those guys because can they stay healthy or not? But the way that guy runs a defense and what he's done the last 2 years, because I feel like he hasn't had all of his pieces in place there, but he's in his third year now. He's got his linebacker he brought with him from Miami. He's got the secondary that he wants with him, and now he's got those front guys with him, and those guys stay healthy, man. I think that defense is going to be really, really tough to go against during the season. Am I wrong on that? Or like, do you guys see that too? Or Big O, do you see that? Or is there anything that I'm missing there with the Vikings? I guess it's all in the quarterback.
When we play the Vikings, man, it's always a battle, and their defense is always right there. And it's been a struggle for us against the Vikings, and I'm really not sure exactly what's going to happen this year with the Vikings. I'm not really sure, to be honest, man. They were shocked last year, and they dominated last year in our division, and Sam Darnold definitely surprised a lot of people, and but we'll see what happens.
Big O says it, Kris. They surprised a lot of us last year, and I think it has a lot to do with that coaching staff. I mean, Kevin O'Connell, man, he's one of the best offensive minds in the game. And then Brian Flores, I was hoping he'd get a head coaching job somewhere so we didn't have to see him in the division anymore. And those guys all coming back together, man, for another season. I think that's what makes me a little bit nervous about that team. Now, they do have the rookie quarterback, but is that somebody that I think we're looking past a little too much on? Is the Vikings, or do you think they're right there where you think they should be at the number 9th or 10th spot if you were to put those rankings in?
I honestly would have put the Vikings over Green Bay just because of the simple fact that who they added on that defensive line. So with Minnesota's defense last year, the coverage, the way that Brian Flores had coverage be executed, which is like showing you one type of coverage, and then after like post snap, they totally shift it to a different coverage. It kind of makes it difficult for a quarterback to process that. And now that he's getting, they've improved on the defensive line with guys that can actually wreck a game. Hargrave, as far as a pass rusher, and Jonathan Allen, he just brings power and just tenacity. Yeah, it kind of does perfect that defense in a sense. But I will say a but. It's just the simple fact that you got to be able to protect your quarterback, and I feel like we got those guys that can do that. And they have injury concerns with those two guys they've acquired. Now, my thing is they lost one of the interception leader on their team, so that plays another role too. And that back half and that secondary, I think when it comes to the safeties, you got a Harrison Smith who's up in age, but you lost Spiner. So they got to find a way to fill that hole, and that's like my only concern. I think we can exploit that with the weapons we have. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be a game. It's going to be it's going to be a slugfest, and whoever can, outlast the other one in the trenches and on the scoreboard is going to come out on top. So that I think Vikings should have been higher than Green Bay just because of what they've added to that defense. And it's just, we got to see when we hit the field, you unlock the gates, and we're going to see who comes out on top and walks out with the victory.
And I think a big reason why, too, they went heavy into free agency this year. They didn't have a lot of draft picks, so they were really heavy in the free agency. And that's why the NFC North, man, it's going to be one of the toughest divisions in football again this year. We got 4 really good teams going into this season, and it's going to be fun to watch, and it's been fun being able to break down. So when we talk about this, guys, and thank you guys for watching today on the Chicago Sports Podcast, Bears on Tracks 5 for Chicago, where you could like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and share with your friends as well. Why Chicago might be the NFC's most underrated team going into 2025. Well, when you look at the power rankings, when you're ranked at 21, you think you're going to be an underdog. I say anything between 20 and 30, like that's kind of the bottom half there, and you're an underdog to me. That's what it feels like to me. However, I don't necessarily know if we are going to be underrated. I think teams have taken notice of what the Bears have done this year. I think teams around the league, I think teams in our division have taken notice, like, hey, they're the real deal right now, man. They went out and spent a lot of money on a head coach, something we have never done before. And they put this all-star coaching staff around Ben Johnson and all different types of coaches. So underrated, I don't know, but I just don't know. I just don't know what teams are going to feel going into this year. So Kris, underrated. Do you think the Bears are going into this year underrated? Do you think teams are going to be looking at our team as hey, we're going to go in and it's the same old Chicago, or do you think teams are going to be like, okay, this is a little bit of a different story now with Ben Johnson as their coach?
I think they feel it's going to be a different monster because of the pieces and because of how he schemes up an offense. Every play, a defense is going to be playing. Can you guess who, as far as who's going to get the football? And on top of that, when you look at how Ryan Poles attacked the offensive line this offseason, and just acquiring Thuney and acquiring Jackson and Dalman, it does put a bit of fear into you, just a tiny bit, just because of the simple fact that the Achilles heels for this offense was the offensive line. He brought in a couple guys that can solidify that. So we added some pieces on the offense. We brought in a guy that could be. We brought in some guys, like you bring in a Grady Jarrett, who's we've known around the NFL for a while. He can wreak havoc at that interior line and have his way. And then on top of that, you also draft the rookie from Texas A&M, who's also has been part of a defense where the defensive line was the one carrying and wreaking havoc in that backfield and being very disruptive. So when you have a defensive line that is very disruptive, it makes it easier in the back half. And we got corners. We got, I would say, 3-4 corners that can ball. And then we got linebackers that can roam and hit. So the combination of this defense and the combination of this offense, it's very exciting. So I do think they know this is a totally different monster. From the coaching staff to the roster, it's a totally different beast. And the thing is, team got to show when it comes to game time. And I don't doubt we will not show that. I doubt that they're gonna look at us the same after the season's over.
I agree with you, Kris, and a lot of people in our chat room agree with you too. Like Cliff says, none of our opponents know what the Bears are going to be. They're probably not going to be happy with Ben and the coaching crew that the Bears have picked up. And to that point there, Big O, I think the coaching, I think that alone too, a lot of people are going to look at like, whoa, okay. So Dennis Allen, former head coach twice in the NFL, is going to be running the defense right now. So I think teams are going to, in a second year, this isn't the first year of Caleb Williams. I think teams have already saw what Caleb Williams can do last year, especially with some other weapons around him. I don't know if they're going to be looking at us as an underrated team or not. I think they're going to be looking at us as a more competitive team. What do you think, Big O?
I think like you guys talked about, I think the teams of the NFL know what we've done. I think they're expecting us to come out and compete. I think us as fans been kind of scarred over the last few years. We're the ones that are kind of, uncertain. But I think the Bears are gonna. I think they're definitely underrated. But it's gonna take a lot to. We're gonna have to bring a lot to the table to get that respect. We're gonna have to show up and win some games, and we have to prove it. Simple as that.
I like that you said that too, because that's going back to what we talked about in the beginning of the show when we talked about the ESPN rankings here. And that's what we're talking about, why we are 21st right now. And it's a prove it. We got to go out there and prove it. And we haven't been able to do that the last couple. I thought last year we were going to be a much better team than a 5-win team. I said about 8 or 9 wins last year. And sure enough, the debacle happened with the Hail Mary and everything went downhill from there. And we didn't realize that it was going to go downhill from there. And you look at that team with all the talent that they had, like, how the hell did we only win that many games? And then we realized, like, all right, well, we had a bad coaching staff, and maybe some of our players, their head wasn't in the game, or maybe we overrated some of the players. So going into this season with a coach that I think has more of a demeanor to him, in more of a track record with some of the coaches around him, I think this could be something special. I think this could be definitely an 8 or 9 win team. I would expect it. I'm hoping an 8 or 9 win team this year. Now, guys, before we get off here tonight on the Chicago Sports Podcast, I'm going to ask you, when you look at the ESPN Power Rankings, we just went over everything. We went over everything on our team. We went over why we think they had it ranked the 21st, the upgrades on offense, playmakers, rebuilt defense, everything that we've gone over with the Bears on today's show. So I'll start with you, Kris. Where would you put their ranking? If you had to go in and redo the ESPN Power Rankings, instead of 21, would you keep them a little bit higher? Would you keep them at 21? Where would you put
I would say around 15 to 16 for now, just because of the fact that, there's a level of uncertainty of, what the coaches are going to do with this roster. Even though, as fans, everybody, we're excited about it because we've seen the resumes of what these coaches have done and what certain players have done on other teams. It's about, how can we have this gel together? So I put them in the middle of the pack right now, just for the simple fact that, how we improved the free agency and how we got certain pieces in the draft and how, the possibility of how we can use them. And then you have to look at what the strengths that we have on this team. So it's not like, the roster was terrible. We had a good roster last year, little holes in the offensive line. Okay, now we got some guys on the offensive line. So now we look at this roster and the coaches, and the potential is sky high at this particular part. So I got to also keep that in mind. We're basing it off of potential, and I got to be fair, put it at 16, maybe 15, 14. But I do think we're going to go off this year.
All right, Big O, you hear what Kris said. He said 15, 14, somewhere in the middle pack there in the teens, right in the middle of the NFL. When you start breaking it down and everything we talked about on today's show, where would you put them in the ESPN Power Rankings if you had to change it? Would you keep them at 21 or would you move them up?
Before Kris gave his answer, the first number that popped in my head was 15. Based off of what we did in the offseason, we, like you said, we improved on all three phases of the game. But most importantly, we improved. I think we have the best coaching staff in the NFL. I mean, with Ben Johnson and with all the coordinators and the staff that he put together, it's a very impressive staff. So my initial thought is 15, but I'm glad we're at 21 because we are going to shut their mouths, man. We're gonna punch them in the mouth, man. We're gonna punch them in the mouth. We're gonna shut them up, and we're gonna get on the field and we're gonna prove it to the world, man, that the Bears are for real, man.
I like what you guys have your power rankings. I was thinking about this too, and listening to you guys, and even preparing for the show today, because I thought 21 was a little low for me. I thought that was like, all right, 21. I'm like, okay, I understand why you have us at 21, why we were talking about it. We got to go out there and prove it, especially after last year where we thought we were going to have a good team and we only won 5 games. I understand all of that. All right, I get it. But I would at least think they would have put us at like 18. Like I think 18 or 19. If they would have had us there, I was like, okay, I can understand that a little bit more. I'm kind of with you guys. I would say like 15. I would say between 15 and 17 is where I would put them at right now. Just again, because I think they're so much better with the coaching, like what you guys both, Kris and Big O, what you guys both went over between the coaching, the upgrades there, the upgrades in free agency and the draft. But also at the same time, the Bears have broken our hearts before. We've had a lot of losing seasons. So I don't want to like get myself over the moon thinking that we're going to go ahead and win 12 games this year. And I want to kind of back that down a little bit. And also understanding we got a second-year quarterback trying to make those strides. But I think realistically 15 to 17 it would be a possibility for this team this year to make that next step. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And by the way, guys, too, before we let you go, the schedule comes out next Wednesday. You guys excited for that? The schedule comes out. Is there anything that Kris, Big O, you could just chime in here? Kris, start with you. Is there anything that you're looking forward to when the schedule comes out?
I'm looking forward to how everything is going to be broken down as far as the divisional games and who we're going to play, because sometimes when you get those tough teams in the stretch, that usually shows what your team is made of. So I'm pretty sure based off the schedule, we might just get a gauntlet. But I'm excited about that because we also get to know when's the bye week. Also, that's key when it comes to resting your players and getting your mind right. You getting guys back because also once you get that bye week, you can also install new types of plays. And then at the same time, some teams when they get off that bye week, they take off. So I'm more looking forward to when's the bye week and how the schedule is going to be broken down, so we can see what's going to be lined up and who we got to knock down just to make it to where we got to go.
How about you, Big O? What are you looking forward to when the schedule is released on Wednesday?
A few things, right? When we play Green Bay, most importantly, when we play them at Soldier Field, because that's gonna be the game of the year for me. Second, living down here in Dallas, when are we gonna play the Cowgirls? Will it be on prime time? Will it be in the cold, which I would love? Whoop them in the cold, kind of want to see we do week 1, and also I want to see when we play the Niners because I'll be going out to San Fran for that game. So, but kind of want to see how we do with travel wise, how many home games we have, streaks we have in a row. I like to see more home games in a row, and not so back and forth that wears the team down here and there. But at least we're not going to Europe this year. That does help, and of course, most importantly, that bye week. I love a bye week that's usually around week 8, week 9. I like the middle of the season bye week. Nothing too early, nothing too late.
I could tell you guys in our household, my girlfriend, the Pittsburgh girl, from a diehard Steeler fan, we got it circled on our calendar when the Bears and the Steelers play this year, because it's going to be in Chicago. So we live, obviously, I live here in Knoxville. I live down here in Knoxville, Tennessee, but I grew up on the south side of Chicago. She grew up in Pittsburgh, about 30 minutes away from Heinz Field, and so we're ready. We're going to be circling that day because we're going to be trying to make that trip for that game.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little healthy family feud going on. So, that day you just y'all might be just a little trash talk going on. Hey, I can't wait to hear what happens after that.
Oh, it's going to be a week of talking, dude. We're going to be talking smack to each other all week, man.
Oh, I know there's going to be a bet. There's going to be a bet. There's going to be
Yeah. Oh, we'll be doing something, man. I can't wait for that too, because
hey, Matt, do not end up in the doghouse, man. All right, be careful there.
The couch is not a debate. No, you have to sleep in your bed no matter the outcome.
Yeah. I'll be sleeping. Me and the cat will be sleeping on the couch, man. Especially if we win that game, right? But yeah, we'll be looking forward to that, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we'll be looking. I'll actually be in Cincinnati watching the White Sox and the Reds that night. The diehard White Sox fan of me. I don't know why I'm still watching them, but I'll be looking on my phone in when it starts. It's 8:00 Eastern time, guys. So that's when it comes out next Wednesday, 8:00 Eastern. And of course, follow us here on the Chicago Sports Podcast, Bears on Tracks 5 for Chicago, and we're gonna give you all the latest updates with the Bears and the schedule, and we all can't wait for that. So thank you guys for watching tonight. You could share this with your friends, share this video with all your other Bears friends, tell them about the show, tell them about all the different Bears shows that we have on here. You can like and subscribe on our YouTube page, get those notifications. They pop up on my phone every day. Watch all the shows all the time. We have so many great hosts here, so many hardworking people that are on the Chicago Sports Podcast, and our guy, Brandon Trax Hyatt, who puts everything together for us. We can't say thank you enough to him. And thank you guys for everything and watching tonight. Chris, good to see you as always, man. I hope you're doing well. It's always good to be on with you.
Likewise, brother. Likewise.
And Big O, 2 weeks in a row now, man. It's good to see you, man. Brought it again today, man. It's always good to have another diehard Bears fan on here with us, man. So it's always good to see you.
Man, I tell you guys, I appreciate you guys. I love your passion. It's great being on here, man, and talking about our team. And I look forward to seeing you guys again, man.
Yeah, we'll do it again next week, guys. So for everybody here, thank you guys for watching tonight, the Chicago Sports Podcast, Bears on Tracks 5 for Chicago.